Hello everyone, I'm Carlotta Benedetti from the Free University of Bolzano, and today me and my colleague Paola Rovelli would like to present a paper entitled "As Long as You Talk About Me, the Importance of Family Firm Brand and the Contingent Role of Family Firm Identity." I am working on this paper in co-authorship with Paola Rovelli and ALFREDO de Massis from the Free University of Bolzano and Andrea Colladon from the University of Perugia. In our first slide, we decided to use a quote taken from the picture of Dorian Gray to symbolically give you an insight on our paper aim. Studying branding strategies of family firm is critical to understand how they communicate at the intersection of two idiosyncratic systems, the family and the business. When looking at family firm brands, research has mainly adopted an internal perspective, exploring how family firms strategically manage their brand. These studies have shown that branding strategies that communicate the family nature of the firm positively relate to the firm performance, and that viewing the family as a corporate brand leads to higher rate of sales growth. However, a relatively less explored area of research considers the role of external audiences as media, consumer and other stakeholders in determining the importance of family firm brands and how this can ultimately impact on family firm performance. Obtaining an external perspective on family firm brands and on importance attached to them by external stakeholders is crucial to the understanding of how such stakeholders can affect consumer choice and lead to competitive advantages. Accordingly, our study aimed to offer a new angle on the management of family firm brands by exploring whether brand importance relates to family firm performance in terms of revenues. Moreover, while adopting an external perspective is important to advance marketing and branding research in family firms, we cannot ignore the nature of the firms we are studying. Specifically, we contend that the relationship between brand importance and revenues might be contingent upon a characteristic that is distinctive to family firms, namely the identification of the family with the firm. Therefore, we investigate whether the relationship between brand importance and firm revenues changes depending on family firm identity. Past research seems to have paid attention mainly to the differences between family and non-family firms, highlighting the benefits that the family nature brings in terms of marketing and branding related performance. However, an in-depth view on the contribution of external stakeholders in adding value to the brand is largely missing. To our best knowledge, no study has measured the importance provided to family firm brand by external stakeholders. Understanding the importance of a brand in terms of awareness and the structure of its association as conveyed by external stakeholders is instead important. Journalists, for example, can influence their readers and what consumers think about their brand. For this reason, before delving into the formulation of our hypothesis, we want to spend a few words on the construct of brand importance. Brand importance is a relatively new construct that comprises the three dimensions of prevalence, diversity, and connectivity. These dimensions are related to the well-known models of brand knowledge and equity. In details, prevalence points to how often a brand is mentioned in a discourse, capturing its visibility, as well as offering an indication of its awareness. A high prevalence might suggest that the brand will be recalled and recognized by new readers. Diversity is linked to the concept of heterogeneity of brand association and therefore related to the construct of brand image. It captures the variety and uniqueness of the words that are mentioned together with a brand. Heterogeneous associations are usually preferred as they show that the brand is embedded in a richer discourse and contribute to brand strength. The third dimension, connectivity, represents how much a brand can bridge connection between words that are not directly connected. Some implications of connectivity were associated in prior research to the construct of brand popularity and supported the prediction of firms' financial performance. To build our first hypothesis, we claim that the assessment of brand importance can offer useful insight to family firm brand managers. Indeed, when stakeholders associate family firm brand with heterogeneous and distinctive words, a multifaceted image is conveyed to the readers. In addition, the level of brokerage embeddedness of the family firm brand further contributes to increasing brand importance. Overall, this argument suggests that a family firm whose brand is frequently mentioned in media press, prevalence, which is embedded in a rich and distinctive discourse, diversity, and connects different discourse topics, connectivity, has a greater competitive advantage over other family firms in terms of the ability to attract stakeholder attention. Specifically, brand importance might attract and or affect current and potential consumer purchasing choices, with more consumer buying from firms with higher brand importance, thus leading to greater revenues. Accordingly, we posit that brand importance associated to firm performance in terms of revenues. A common way of capturing the degree of family and firm identity overlap is by determining whether the name of the firm includes the name of the family. Research suggests that when there is a high identity overlap, a family firm is more likely to prioritize family aspiration over those of the business, and to have a strong desire to preserve the values of the past and tradition, attaining strategic advantages as a result of the family involvement in the business. Extending this rationale to the marketing field, several studies have shown that protecting the family brand name and leveraging on family-based brand identity help family firms to develop social capital, positively influencing external stakeholder perception and even persuading consumers to make a purchasing decision based on the values, beliefs, and norms that they attribute to family-owned businesses. These, however, depend on the extent to which the family is able to personify with the business, such that positive attributes associated with the family are similarly attributed to the business and vice versa. As a result, family firm identity overlap may alter the relationship between the importance given to the family firm brands from external stakeholders and the firm performance, meaning that some family firms are able to benefit more from their familiar nature than others. On the contrary, we expect that while brand importance is likely related to higher revenues, the lack of family and firm identity overlap might associate to the opposite trend, downplaying the positive effect of brand importance. It follows that, even if a lack of family and firm name overlap provides a family firm with the freedom to develop its own identity that is separated from the family's one, such choice might be detrimental in terms of consumer emotional bonds, affectionate care, and thus orientation toward the brand. This in turn negatively affects the alleged positive association between brand importance and firm revenues. Based on this reasoning, we posit that family firm identity overlap positively moderates the relationship between brand importance and firm revenues.
To test our hypothesis, we considered a sample of 63 family firms, which we selected from the Forbes 2018 ranking of the top 100 Italian entrepreneurial families and their businesses. Considering this sample, we gathered information on family firms' characteristics using secondary sources and balance sheet. Instead, to measure the brand importance of these family firms' brands, we consider textual data and specifically a sample of around 52,000 documents, which are Italian online news articles written about these family firms and their brands. To test the hypothesis, then, we ran a series of OLS models. For what concerns our variables, as a start, we measure brand importance using the semantic brand score, which is a composite indicator that has been introduced in 2018 by FRONZETTI COLLADON. This indicator combines methods and tools of text mining and social network analysis, which we apply to the textual data about family firm brands news. The three elements that are considered are prevalence, which is the frequency of occurrence of the brand name in the text, diversity, which is the distinctiveness centrality metric, computer considering a social network graph based on co-occurrences of words in the text, and then connectivity, which is the metric of weighted betweenness centrality. The sum of the standardized values of these three elements give the semantic brand score. The other variables of our study are the logarithm of firm revenues, which is our dependent variable, and then a dummy variable which is equal to 1 when there is an overlap between the family and the firm name, which is our moderating variables. In our models, then we have a set of control variables which are quite standard in the literature, such as the presence of a family CEOs, the number of generations involved, or some dummy variables representing the location or the industry in which the firm operates. This table shows our results. Model 1 is the model with only control variables, while in Model 2 we can see that our first hypothesis is confirmed, as we found a positive and significant relationship between the semantic brand score, so brand importance, and the revenues of family firms. In Model 3 we introduce our moderator, and we see that the family and firm neighbor overlap doesn't have a significant relationship with revenues, while Model 4 shows instead a significant and positive moderating effect. This means that when there is overlap between the family and the firm name, the effect of brand importance on revenues is stronger. Interesting, among our controls, we introduce the sentiment, which is one of the elements that, according to the literature, should drive firms' revenues. In our case, we see that sentiment is not significant. From our results, we first of all derived that family firms whose brand importance is fostered by external audiences, such as journalists, are able to get a greater competitive advantage, which leads to greater revenues. So our first suggestion for family firms is to invest in their relationship with external audiences with the aim of increasing revenues. Second of all, we also found out that this positive relationship between brand importance and revenues is contingent to the identity link between the family and the firm, and specifically that this relationship is of greater magnitude when there is overlap between the family and firm name. So our second suggestion for family firms is to carefully think about how to use their identity, family firm identity, in their branding activities. A third point about our findings is the fact that, opposite to the literature, we found out that the sentiment is not influential in deriving family firms' revenues. This means that family firms should be concerned about the fact that journalists or external audience in general talk about their brand, and not concerned about the way, so whether the news are positive or negative. Our study contributes to three different streams of literature. First of all, we contribute to the family business research on branding by introducing a new concept of brand importance, which helps delineate how family firm brands are perceived by external stakeholders. Second, we contribute to the literature on marketing in family firms by acknowledging the heterogeneity among family firms, which is derived by adopting an external perspective, and also providing a deeper understanding on how brand importance might be driven by external audiences. Third, we contribute to the literature on family business identity by acknowledging how the overlap between family and firm identity is an important determinant of family firms' results. We are now at the end of our presentation, and we thank you for your attention. Suggestions and comments are more than welcome.